Yes.
Yes.
Yes, Tom. Yes, Tom. Hello, and welcome to episode number 76, was it, Tom? Did we say, of...
Modern Art is Rubbish!
Yes. Oh, guess where, Tom? I'm in Colchester at the moment, and I'm in the garden, so you might hear some sounds of nature. Can you hear any sounds of nature?
Yeah, I thought it was distant gunfire.
Yeah, there is sometimes. Yeah, there is sometimes, actually. Yeah, they do like shooting, but then it is a military town, and military people do like shooting. I don't know if they viscerally love it. I don't know if it's a thing they love, but...
Yeah, no, they like it in the background, don't they?
Yeah, it's like a nice little it helps them get to sleep, I suppose, the sound of gunfire.
Yeah, no, absolutely. They can't just spend all night just listening to meditation videos, can they?
Oh, yes. Yeah, there's a point, actually, because you think about it. You've got to be able to sleep with gunfire going on, I suppose. Have you? I don't know. Well, I know nothing about the military. Well, I do, but I've got family in it, but that's about it.
Well, you know about sleep.
Yeah, I do.
And you know about sleeping in Colchester.
Yes. And...
yeah, so, you know, it's just part of life, I suppose, for you.
My recommendation is a nice, steady brown noise going on, which is like a sort of deeper, more mellow white noise. You can get it on YouTube. They're just sort of like... they last about 8 hours, the YouTube videos of pure brown noise. Enough for anyone to have a good sleep, I think.
Oh, right, yeah. No, there's enough time for a good sleep in 8 hours, isn't there?
Yeah, there is. That's what I like to get every day. So, Tom, the things I want to talk about today is I went to the Other Art Show, which is an art show fair, and then there's a little thing about Hunter Biden, Joe Biden's son, doing art. Well, that's quite...
yeah, he's courted controversy. I know that name from controversial stories of late.
Yeah, there's controversy there. And then there's that cool artist that you've introduced me to, Kojo Marfo. Oh, I love that name. It's just like, if you've got a name like that, you've got to be an artist. So talk about him. And then I visited a show in Colchester, actually. It was really good, by Michael Landy, the man who destroyed all his art and everything he owned, in fact. So there you go.
What, with guns and background fire and explosions?
Yeah.
He was probably trying to get to sleep, Marcus.
So, with this outdoor vibe, I can see the sun shining, and I hope it's not too windy. So the other... did I tell you about the Other Art Show that I went there? Did I tell you, yes, that I went to London?
Is that the one that you've just sent me pictures of?
Yes.
Yeah, well, I count that as you telling me, but this is the first I'm hearing that they were taken in London.
Yeah. Basically, I went out to London to see the Other Art Fair. It's organised by the Saatchi Gallery. It's kind of like a fair. Really good, actually, for up-and-coming new artists. And the reason I was there to see the artist, friend of the show, J.R. Chuo. He was there doing his cutouts. You know, that we've talked about him before on the show. Does these giant sort of Japanese-style cutouts, very fragile. Reminds me of coral a lot and the fragility of coral. So that was really good to see his work. Really, he had some really big pieces up on the wall, and that was really cool. And saw some other really interesting artists as well. And
cool.
Yeah, one I was speaking to was a woman called Dawn Beckles, and she had these really interesting, colourful interiors. I don't know if you can see those, Tom, on the thing. I'll put links to on the website for those of you listening at home, so you can see them. But what do you think of these? These are like really interesting interiors, and they almost look like they're the kind of very surreal, very, very pop art as well, but very contemporary, really cool and full of interest. And they're almost autobiographical. It's almost like there's a hidden message in them, and you can't quite work out what it is. And there's sort of like words on these, and they're brightly coloured, aren't they? Really good.
Yeah, no, they look really, really groovy.
Yeah. Really interesting. I've got really sort of like enigmatic names, like In Reality, and there's one called She Is Integral. And I'm looking at this, again, this is a mysterious a mysterious kind of room with the colours, and it reminds me, the way that she paints it sort of reminds me in part of like Matisse and the Australian artist Sidney Nolan, and it's got the same, and in actual fact it's got some of the similar kind of mystery of that, and really bang on the money. I thought, well, this is really good, and this is what I like about the other art fair as well, is when you go there, it's a pretty good place to see up and coming artists. So if you've got a little bit of cash, you probably can pick yourself up an artist that's up and coming at a bargain price.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Well, everyone likes a bargain.
Well, yeah, I love a bargain. But
not everyone likes art, but everyone likes a bargain.
Yeah. So if you're not looking
if you're not into art but you like bargains, go to the Saatchi.
Yeah. If you're looking for a good T-shirt, you probably get good T-shirts. I think there was good other art T-shirts, so maybe even a T-shirt might be good if there are sold them there. But if they are sold them, that is not even English. I don't even know what I'm saying. So anyway. The other artist I was speaking to, I really liked, was an artist called Sophia Oshodin. I hope I pronounced that right. Now she does these portraits. They're almost like imagined stories about people. They look like they're sort of like from Africa, and they're dressed in like traditional African dress. And she's done these amazing. I mean, they're just really visually striking portraits, and they're full of narrative and ideas. I mean, one I'm looking at is called Fish for Dinner, and it's this picture of all these people, and they've got they're cooking their fish on a sort of like an open air grill, and just really full of life and vibrance and full of story. It's I think that her work is something that particularly, it's harder to describe. If you just say it, you'll just get instantly what I'm trying to say very poorly in words.
All right, yeah. So it's like a family of 5, it looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're all sat round. There's like a mother figure doing like serving up, and there's like fish cooking on the grill, and there's bottles. There's like a guy in like a sideways facing cap holding a can of bottle of Guinness. Yeah, he likes. And there's animals in the background. Yeah. What's that like? There's a pineapple and like I know a pineapple's not an animal. A bird and like a car and a house.
It does look like
it's very brightly coloured, isn't it?
It does look like the pineapple is alive. I mean, even the watermelon and the pineapple, they all look like they've got life in them. And there's fish in the boot by the look of it, of the car as well.
Oh, right. I thought they were like spirits coming out the back of the car.
Do you have any spirits in your car?
I'm banned from driving. I'm not allowed to drive anymore, Marcus.
Yeah, so it does. Do you know what it reminds me of? Not looks wise, but it's got that kind of life of like a Chagall. And I'll put links to Chagall in case anyone doesn't know who Chagall is, but the painter. There's that kind of sense of real life about it, and can I use the word joie de vivre, because I haven't used that for a long time, or joie de vivre?
Yeah, what does it mean, joie de vivre?
It's kind of like joy of life. It's kind of like I don't know what the exact translation is, but it's just that sort of like full of joy and celebration of life.
Yeah.
So that's...
Oh, cool. Okay.
So I definitely recommend checking out her work. And just got a couple more. Vanessa Enderley. Now, what she's done is she's done work of... Her work seems to be predominantly sort of like African black women features. But what's really I find really interesting about her work is visually really striking. they have no faces. They just have sort of lines across their eyes, giving them a mystery.
Green lines.
Yeah, green lines across their faces, and no mouth, no nose. But visually, really, really interesting art. And how she creates this is they're like photographs that I believe they're photographs that have been digitally edited, but really into these vibrant, striking images, and
decorated with some branded packaging.
Yes. So what's that one? That's Super. So then the one I'm looking at, it's got Super Yogo.
Yeah, it sounds like it says Super Yogo.
Yeah.
Have it for breakfast today. Start your day the right way with Super Yogo.
It does look, yes, it kind of Super Yogo, which is, this is like the frame, almost looks like a frame to the picture. I think Super Yogo seems like a yogurt flavoured chewing gum in my head, but it's probably not. And there's this is wonderful use of branding.
Are you suffering from bad breath? Yes. Go on, carry on.
Yeah, so I am suffering from bad breath, but that's because I'm in ketosis.
It's because you've not had any Super Yogo.
I guess we'll see.
Have some Super Yogo today. Yeah. Make your breath as crystal fresh.
Just for the record, it's because I'm in ketosis and I've lost my toothpaste at the moment, so. But that's not got it.
Well, I think the marketeers of Super Yogo would disagree with your reasoning there.
Yeah, so the woman in the middle, she's sort of like reclining in a Calvin Klein's, and she's reading a book about.
She's reading "Women Don't Owe You Pretty" is the name of the book.
I think that's a thing we can all agree. I don't think women shouldn't have to make themselves look beautiful for people. I think that's a very simplistic analysis. Sorry, but there you go.
Yeah, speak for yourself.
Yeah.
I feel all women owe me pretty, particularly with my fresh Super Yogo breath.
We're Super Yogo obsessed. We're missing. So. Yeah.
I think you're missing the point of the image, Mark.
Yeah.
It's got Super Yogo written at least 50 times more than "Women Don't Owe You Pretty."
Yes, you're absolutely right there. You're absolutely right on that. So it's well, you are. It's like one of those things we go Super Yogo. Never bring up politics, religion, or Super Yogo in conversation. No, that doesn't work.
Okay.
Does that work?
Well, I don't know. Well, they're your rules, Marcus.
What?
So
I make it.
They're your rules.
Marcus rules never make sense.
I guess, we're all going to have to just fit in with them.
God, I'm becoming a parody of myself. Yeah, so I, again, really recommend looking at Vanessa's work. It's really interesting. It's really lovely how she manipulates these digital images, and they're really striking. Again, the colours, beautiful. The composition's really cool, and really recommend her work, checking it out. And that is why I picked it from the other art fair. And finally, the final artist that I really liked. Now, there's so many good artists at the other art fair. I sound like I'm being paid for the other art fair to say this, but I'm not. Is the artist Anna MacDonald. Now, I like her because she kind of ticks the box of the kind of like the old, for me, the older school kind of like modernist contemporary artist. It's kind of like the art that I grew up with, and a continuation of that. So it's very modern, but it's also very zen. There's kind of like a really zen, and when you see her pictures, they're massive, and you just look at them, and the kind of picture you could just sit and stare and do our Wim Hof breathing to, Tom. We could Wim Hof breathe and look at this painting for hours, and you'd see something different in it every time. Big splashes of colour, of muted kind of like almost like giant watercolour, but it's actually done in acrylic, but it's like giant watercolour, gestural, big marks on a canvas, really cool. really good to just sit there, look at and take in and see something new every time you look at them.
Yeah, it looks like a kind of building that needs a bit of touching up. That's what I'm seeing at the moment. We need to get the builder in to fill in those cracks.
Yeah.
Those cracks are like getting a bit wider. We need to get the builders in.
Well, well, there is a constructivist element to it, so maybe you're touching into that, Tom. You're getting connected.
I'm tuned into it.
You're tuned into the modernist constructivist elements of it. But yeah,
is that an actual art movement?
Yes.
Constructivism.
Yes.
Is it?
It's formerly a Russian one.
Is it like art by like ex-builders?
Do you know what? I don't.
Like,
do you know what? You say that. I don't know. There may well be builders involved. I mean, certainly there was a lot of building. I mean, there was like one guy who proposed, this guy called Tatlin, an artist, and he proposed making a massive great tower. Looks a bit like the one that was at the London Olympic. You know, the London Olympics one we talked about, that tower. In
Stratford.
Yes, that one. It's kind of like, that's a bit constructivist as well, isn't it? Constructivism was kind of like the Soviet Union's reply to American abstraction. It was kind of like if you're going to do that, we're going to do this.
Oh, right, yeah. So there's a kind of artistic Cold War you're talking about.
Yes. And good that you raised that, because didn't we do an episode about? We did do that. That episode was about. Well, how long ago was that? About 9 months ago. Talked about the CIA and art waging a war. Do you remember that?
Oh right, yeah. I vaguely remember
that. Left such a mark on you, Tom.
Yeah, it kind of left a vague mark, quite constructivist sort of mark.
Well, yes, as long as it left a very angular constructivist mark on you, so that's good. And I'll put a link to that on the site for anyone who's listening. I think that'd be good, wouldn't it? So that they can check out that other podcast. So that's the other art fair. I think the other art fair is actually going to be on again in October. I'll let people know near the time, because if you can get down to it. And by the way, the other art fair also, Tom, it's not just in the UK. It's in a lot of countries, and I don't know which countries off the top of my head, but I think it's for people that want to get some new, really cool, interesting art. Go there.
Yeah. So can I ask about the J.R. Flora?
Yeah.
Am I saying it right?
Yeah.
Go on. Is that a big piece, that one that you've sent me?
Yes, that's a big piece full of multiple ones. Now, for people that didn't listen to our episode, he actually does these. They're big, round, sort of. They're circular shapes, but what he does, he cuts out each individual shape. He cuts out each piece, like tiny pieces of cuts, and it's kind of like a Zen meditation. So it looks like a giant lattice. A big, massive, very representative coral. And this one we're looking at, what I think he's done is I think he's made multiple prints of his cutouts, and he's arranged them into sort of like, and then he's dyed them or made prints in multiple sort of like, what would you say those colours are? Maroon and dark blues?
Yeah, kind of, maroony, reddy, dark. But they look like they might be, like, when you slice down a tree and you look at the inside of a tree.
Yes, they do have
it's like circular shape.
No,
it?
Absolutely, there is that. That has that timeless kind of quality, and
you can count the dots to see how old the artwork is.
You could probably count the actual gaps to see how long it took him, I suppose, because each cut would take you a certain time. So he cuts them all by hand. And again, you can get editions where what he does is he makes prints and then he cuts the edges around them. So each print you get from him is completely unique, but really interesting. And also, it's really interesting work and visually really quite impactful. He's good with a craft
very
knife,
cool.
isn't he? Really, let's be honest. Very good with a craft knife. Knifed. What's a knifed?
Well,
A knife. So
Yeah.
that's JR Churro, which we have talked about. We do have talked about before on the show, and we'll put a link to all those.
Now a short advertisement break.
Oh, Marcus.
Yeah, Tom. Yeah, what?
You know these like turtle art prints we're always losing and all that. I've got one. I really want to look after this one. So could you look after it for me while I just nip out?
Oh yeah, of course I will, Tom. Oh no, you know what? I've just remembered I've got to go out as well. I'll tell you what though. I know this artist JR Churro, he'll be able to look after it for you.
Yeah, well, if he's an artist, he'll know how to look after a really, really high definition art print, won't he?
Yeah.
Of course he will!
3 hours later.
Marcus, I've just got back. Can you get me that turtle art print? I want to show it to my mother.
Oh yeah, I got it back from him. Here you are. He's looked after it. Here you are, Tom.
You what? This is not what I gave to you, Marcus. Look at the state of it. It looks like a load of chopped down trees.
Oh, I'm sorry. I only left it with JR Churro with a craft knife.
JR Churro and a craft knife? Have you gone mad?
I don't know what you're worried about, Tom. It's probably increased the value, and anyway, everyone knows you can head over to Modern Artist Rubbish, subscribe, and get a free turtle art print to download as many times as you want.
Of course. I knew that. I'm just saying it for the advert. Go on then, subscribe.
So just head over to modernartisrubbish.com and subscribe to our email list to get your free artwork and to be updated on the latest Modern Art is Rubbish news.
Right, Tom.
What about the Hunter Biden?
Yes, we're going to talk about Hunter Biden. Now he's not at the other art other art fair because his work is extremely high priced. Now Hunter Biden, for anyone who doesn't know, is the son of President Biden, and he's having an exhibition in New York. But his work, unlike the other art fair, his work is being priced at $75,000 to £500,000. $500,000, sorry.
That's what you get with these establishment artists.
Yeah, but he's not. He's a new artist. This is the thing. He should be at the other art fair. And the average price seems to be the other art fair. You can pick up something really good for like anything ranging from about £100 to about, I'm guessing, maybe £5,000, £6,000, £10,000. Do you know what I mean? You've got a price range, and a lot of the art we were talking about is only around about £2,000, £1,000. That's a lot of money, I appreciate, but for really cool art. But Hunter Biden, it's got. I mean, what do you think? $75,000 for a drawing to $75,000, sorry, to $500,000 for art.
I think art in this case, for sure, art's gone very political.
Well, yeah, this is a problem. It's got to be because that's got to have a factor, isn't it? The fact that it's Joe Biden's son.
Yeah, and he was like, wasn't he like up to mischief? Wouldn't he have caused Biden to lose the election? But it was all hush-hush.
Yeah, allegedly there was something to do with him and something to do with Ukraine, and I didn't. Do you know what I thought? But this is his son. It's not. I thought, well, it wasn't Biden, so I didn't really take much notice. It wasn't Joe Biden that was doing it. You know, sins of the father and all that.
Everyone was so keen to get, what's his name, Donald something, I've forgotten now.
Yeah, whatever.
Everyone was so, whatever his name was.
Yeah, we don't talk
about.
about.
Keen to get him out, weren't they?
Yeah, we were so keen because we had to talk about him nearly every episode, didn't we? Now we don't need to. I'm so happy.
Yeah, the good old days.
Yeah, the good old days when we just talked about Trump and Banksy. Now it's just JR Churro and
Hunter
Biden. Yes, I do Hunter Biden every episode as well. Yeah, that's it. That's all we'll be talking about. That's a good idea, actually. I like that. Yeah. So what do you think, though? The thing is that you would think. I was reading into that. I thought, well, this just looks a bit dodgy because people are just like going, oh, if I buy one of his works and pay $500,000, I might get to meet old, here, Hunter. Can I meet your dad? So. Apparently, there's been a big concern about that by the Republicans. Surprise, surprise. They didn't really care about Trump's son having influence. They didn't really bother about access towards Trump, but now suddenly access towards Joe Biden seems to be a bit of a problem. So what the gallery actually has done, I don't know how effective you'll think this is, Tom. Basically, they are anyone who bids is going to be anonymous. And if the gallery, Hunter Biden won't know who's bought his work, basically, and if the gallery thinks that anything dodgy's going on, what they're going to do is apparently going to go, oh, no, that looks dodgy, mate. I know you want to give us $600,000 for that painting, but we ain't going to sell it to you because I think you want to get to meet old Joe Biden, go for tea with him, and use undue influence.
Yeah, but I mean, there's no surprise there. Undue influence is name of the game, isn't it? Certainly in politics, if not in art as well.
Well, yes, yeah. I mean, there is a lot of that, isn't it? I mean, there's been that argument. If you look at the way galleries run with shows and stuff, you think if you were to do that with shares, do some of the things that are allowed in art galleries and in art shows. The way you can manipulate the market by not selling certain artworks, refusing to sell to certain people, so it doesn't devalue the value of your art. If you were to do that in stocks and shares, some of the things, I'm not an expert on this, I think it might look a bit dodgy, and you might get the police investigating you. Doesn't seem to be the case with art. Again, I'm not an expert, but that's my gut feeling.
Yeah, I don't know, man. This seems dodgy. We haven't actually talked about the images.
Well,
I mean, are we not going to bother?
No, we are going to talk about the images because this is my problem. Is that again? I think the gallery's taking good due. They're doing their due diligence, so I think they seem to be doing all right to make sure that it's kept fair. But look at the images, right? If Hunter Biden was at the other art fair, I'd say, great, this is good stuff, right? Right, I like it. I think it's good. I don't think his work is without merit. I think his work is good. But for a first-time artist to sell his work at $75,000 to $500,000, right, for a first show, it's too much.
Yeah, but how old is he? Because Biden's about 80 years old.
I don't know.
So
I don't know.
His son must be he's likely to be over 40 at least.
Yes, I'm guessing
it's not like he's an 18-year-old or something.
No.
I mean, I don't know if maybe Joe Biden and Mrs. Biden are like quite, I don't know, they're quite an active couple.
Yeah.
But I don't know if
that's so polite.
He's likely to be a middle-aged man.
He is a middle-aged man by the look of him, yeah. Or later,
okay.
Probably a bit older than maybe late 40s.
So, has he been making late 40s, early 50s? So he's not like a new artist, is he?
No, it's not.
No one's heard of him.
No, I mean, I look at his work, right? It does remind me of like the one I'm looking at. It's kind of reminds me of a kind of like a modern style. It's got a feeling of Mondrian, kind of like modernist. And then another one is just. It's kind of like a lot of writing, very, very. It looks like I think he does a lot of like that bubble blowing kind of art where you blow things onto the canvas. Like the children do, where they blow sort of like bubbles and they've got ink or paint in the end of it, and you make like bubble paintings. I think he does a lot of that, and his work is pretty good. I'm not saying it's not, but. It's just too highly priced. But then, having said that, what was Luke Goss's thing? That was like $200 million or something, wasn't it? So,
all right, yeah. Well, maybe he's got like some Russian fans or something.
Oh.
I don't know. It kind of looks quite political. Maybe it's because it's got the name Hunter Biden on it.
Yeah.
But all I'm seeing is like lizards and hands on top of maps.
Oh my God.
And then, like, you know, it's kind of got sort of the other one that you've sent me is kind of looks like sort of flags on top of maps. It's got kind of like politicalness. And I don't know if it's my brain filling in gaps.
Do you know what's really fun?
Probably is that.
Do you know what's funny? Yeah, it's funny that you say that because you were reading into. Maybe you remember the CIA episode we had because there was talk about there being maps contained within paintings of like certain installations. There was a belief that artists were doing that, and they were like codes.
There's a hand on the Hunter Biden one. It's like pressing into your brain. It's like we're watching you type feeling about it.
So it's Illuminati art. Oh my God.
Illuminati art. Yeah, thank you, Marcus. That's what I meant.
Oh my God. Oh well, we better not stop that. I don't want to be pushing pushing anything like that. Maybe it will hang up in some pizza place somewhere if it's Illuminati art.
Right.
No, I was referring to.
Is it?
Do you know? No, I was talking about the reason. You know, the pizza thing. I mean, where they, where a lot of the QAnon was suggesting that there was a paedophile ring going on in a pizza parlour.
Oh right, yeah, sure.
Yeah, operating from the basement of a pizza place. So that's a kind of Illuminati. That's what the Illuminati. I don't know what QAnon thinks.
Are you saying that Hunter Biden was involved in this Pizzagate?
No, I'm not. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that it's an Illuminati thing. I am not saying that, and that is not the official policy of Modern Art is Rubbish. In fact, it'd be the opposite. Because the alleged thing was they alleged it was Hillary Clinton. It's utter, absolute nonsense. But a lot of people believed it. A guy apparently turned up with a gun to the place to try and, even to the pizza place, to even try and stop this thing, and nothing was going on.
Yeah. It was probably an art gallery owner saying that these pictures are too expensive.
Yeah. Well, apparently I heard that Robbie Williams, I was listening to an interview, apparently Robbie Williams said, yeah, well, I know that nothing went on there, but how do we know that nothing is going on? He said something like that, and I thought, huh? Robbie Williams, the pop star, for those people who don't know him.
He's very wise, Robbie Williams, isn't he?
Well, yeah.
How do we know that nothing is going on? I mean, it's a good question.
Maybe I'm misquoting him. I'm not doing him a disservice, but I thought that's what he said. But good old Robbie. He does occasionally come out with some wisdom, and I have heard that. So I'm not going to say he's not always unwise.
Pizza.
Tom,
Right.
this new artist that you've introduced me to, do you want to talk about it? Kojo Marfo. I really like him. Oh, yeah, he's a butcher. He's a butcher. Is he a former butcher? Is he still butching now, even though he's butching? Is that what butchers do? Do they butch? No, that's...
I guess they're like butchering.
It makes it sound like it's a 1980s kind of gay club craze, butching. It doesn't it sound like that? It sounds like that, yeah. But it's not.
His pictures feature people who could be butching.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
They've got the jewellery. They got the outfits.
It's very glamorous.
The makeup.
Yeah.
Is very glamorous. So it's kind of it's people going out clubbing. You got animals. You got dogs, cats, cows, birds, and humans.
It's full of life. I love the fact that he has cows featured, and he even mentioned it in that BBC article you sent me. Do you remember? He said the cow. He was saying like the cow builds civilizations, and he said in Ghana we use them to plough the land, and if you have 2 or 3 animals, you can get a beautiful woman to marry you. In parts of India, they're treated as gods. I thought. Yeah, so that's good, isn't it? If you've got 2 or 3 animals, you can get a beautiful woman to marry you. It's not bad, is it?
Yeah, or just get some of that gum we were talking about earlier.
Oh, yeah. You'll go something. But these are so good, because I love it. I mean, the guy's from Ghana, but his work, it has elements of so much more than just African. Oh, not so much more. There's so much to African culture, but it's not just African culture in influences. He's got like Western. There's definitely Picasso elements in there. There's even elements I think of, like looking the way he draws birds. I'm reminded of like some South American kind of art and North American art. And interesting enough, I love the fact about how he assesses beauty, because it looks like a lot of the characters in his artwork have is it vitiligo? That's what it's called, isn't it? Where that skin condition, where your skin is a different two different colours.
Okay, yeah, I'm not sure.
Like Michael Jackson had.
Okay, yeah, but his skin was all one colour. It just changed, didn't it?
Yeah, but I think that's the condition he had, which was vitiligo, and it looks like on this artist that all the art,
among other conditions, surely.
What? Among other, there was. I think Michael Jackson had a lot of conditions. Yes,
yeah,
certainly did.
we should be clear about that.
Yeah, but it's It does, and I think there's like questions, notions of beauty, but they're just beautiful, striking images, aren't they? Just really cool. I'm really glad you introduced me to him, because I wouldn't have known about him if you hadn't. So, and he's now. I mean, I'm a Kojo Malfo fan straight off.
Yeah. Oh, good. Yeah. Yeah. No, it's funny how passionate he wants to like keep working with his butchering or butching, as we call it. Yeah. Like while he's like making a name for himself in the art world.
Yeah.
It's quite there's something quite fun about that. It's quite funny.
Yeah.
I don't know if it just tickled me that he was so keen on his butchering.
Yes. Yeah, it's he seems like a really down-to-earth guy. He entered some kind of competition, didn't he? And he got spotted, and then the lead singer, I believe, or one of the musicians from the band Bush, he bought one of the paintings, and he kind of like he's been on the ascendance ever since.
Gavin something, isn't it?
Yeah. Gavin, whoever. I know very little about Bush. I know that they seem to be more famous in America than they were in the UK. That's about it, really.
Gavin Rossdale.
Yeah, I was going to say my knowledge of Bush is very limited, but that's maybe not the right word to use.
Well, that's all right. What's wrong with having bad knowledge of Bush?
Sorry, I've become 13 again.
Yeah. Oh well.
Moving swiftly on, Tom, to the final thing. I went to a Michael Landy exhibition in Colchester's first Sight Gallery. It's really good. He's done this thing for the Essex. It's about Essex people. Now, Essex man and Essex woman is kind of like a meme, isn't it? Is that, would you call it? Would you say it's a meme in the UK?
What, Essex man?
Yeah, an Essex woman.
Anything involving the word Essex. I think Essex is just like, it's got the word sex in, so people enjoy like the word Essex and putting girls and boys in front of it.
Yeah, it's really funny. I'm trying to describe, how would you describe the phenomena of Essex? Because I'm from Essex, so how would you describe the phenomena of that to someone else? That's what I'm trying to work it out, but it's really, I think that's maybe what he's questioning, because you go into this, it's kind of like there's, in the UK, there's been loads of headlines about Essex man and how they're, I suppose, maybe a bit stupid. Is that the kind of mythology? That they're a bit silly?
Yeah, well, as like Essex people, as you and me are, and all my family are, and all your family, I imagine.
Yes, but a lot of them are. London as well.
A lot of them are. I don't know, like, we probably have a kind of a different take on it. But like the mythology, as you asked, is kind of, kind of easy going, like always up for a good time.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit like slow and stupid, possibly. And they like, those Essex people, they're wearing their suits and got a lot of makeup on, even the blokes.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
Can I give a joke? And it's a really horrible joke, but I think it describes an Essex, the kind of Essex thing. Do you think I can do that?
Yes. Yeah, no, please do it.
I don't find this funny. I don't find this funny, but I think it quite sort of like describes how this Essex people, I think. That was a joke, was how do you know if an Essex girl's had an orgasm?
I don't know. How do you know?
Right. I don't find this funny. I don't condone this, but it's actually apparently she drops a bag of chips. That's one I heard once. So that kind of gives that kind of like, it's quite derogatory and quite and the
maybe it's quite derogatory, but it's a clear sign. Dropping a bag of chips, you're gonna know, aren't you?
Oh my God! I've just adjusted my chair. I've been sitting in my God. I nearly fell off my chair there, Tom. I'm not. It's all right. I'm all right.
But a majority of the Essex people I know are like vegans. They don't eat bags of chips.
No.
But, that might just be I'm maybe mixed with just the higher circle of Essex people who are a bit more classy. I don't know.
I just think, it's just a really unfair description, but it's kind of like a myth that's been made up, and but it's interesting because in this exhibition now, Michael Land, who's done this exhibition, he's the guy who famously destroyed all of his artwork, everything, and in this exhibition he's put up all these ridiculous headlines about Essex girls and Essex boys and Essex people. And it actually shows how ridiculous it is, and the fact that it's all about sort of like the media's like conjured up this image of Essex. And also there's a show called The Only Way Is Essex, which is kind of like fed to a certain extent into the myths of the Essex man and Essex woman. And it's
like an entertainment brand, isn't it? The Essex boy, Essex girl.
Yes.
It's like entertaining in the newspapers. It's always like a funny story.
Yeah.
It's not like Essex girl, like does something very serious and here's the reaction of everyone. It's always like a story that will make you laugh, a headline, a program that's supposed to be, you're supposed to laugh at them. It's like a joke, isn't it?
Yeah,
so I don't know, I don't know if it's really a serious thing, is it?
No, I think it's not a serious thing, but no, it is. I mean, it's very tongue in cheek, but it's kind of still having a swipe. Like one of the headlines was that it was like Essex girl is more intelligent than Einstein. That was like a headline. That was one of the headlines he showed. And like, there's one here that I'm saying, yes, there are still some virgins in Essex, and they're proud of it. That was a headline from an article in the Sun.
Yeah, well, good on them's what I say. Go.
And
I don't know any virgins in Essex. I'll just be clear about that. That's the Modern Art is Rubbish line. Do you know any virgins in Essex?
Yeah, I do. I know loads. I'm just making that up. but anyway, I mean, the thing is, no, I have no evidence of that of that at all, actually, to be honest. But that doesn't. Have I just contradicted everything I've been saying by saying that, or not?
No. I mean, I just think maybe there's an element of truth in it.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. So also when you go in there, he's got lots of there's lots of videos mixed in with trash and bins, and there's lots of banners with Essex headlines, and also when you walk in there's a giant drawing of like a sort of like an Essex dude in his suit, and he must be about 15 foot tall. Now, Tom, what I'm going to do is I'm actually on Friday I'm going to do a run of mystery, and I'm going to actually take the Facebook. Take the Facebook. Well, that's not even English, is it? I'm going to take my phone and do a Facebook Live and go round the exhibition so people can see it, and then I'll post it on the Modern Art is Rubbish Facebook page and put a link on the website by the time, so people will be able to actually see a link to it somewhere, and I'll put it up on YouTube. Should I put it up on YouTube as well? Should I do that?
Yeah, well, if you're actually going round a gallery in Essex with your like live camera work going on, you could ask everyone you see in the gallery if they're from Essex and if they're a virgin, and then we can know once and for all. We'll have some evidence either way.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to walk up to people and say, "Are you a virgin?" I'm just not going to do it.
It's quite artistic, though, isn't it?
Yeah,
we could send the evidence to the artist either way.
Or just send just I don't know. Can you tell? Is there a way you can just look at them? People look at men or women and just see a glow that's not there. Is that possible? I don't know what I'm saying.
There probably is ways you can tell, but I don't know if we have the. I don't think there is actually.
The virgin doll.
Scratch.
This is really like dodgy dancing territory. I don't know what. I don't even know what I'm saying. It's because it's the end of the pod, isn't it? So anyway, yeah, I'll do that, Tom. Though, so I'll put that. I'll put up the video. So anyway, so we're back for the end. So what we got? Just to say thanks to people for listening. I will put up a video, link to the video for YouTube. Where can people follow us, Tom?
They can follow us in Essex.
Yeah.
live on Facebook and YouTube on Friday.
Yeah. Again,
on Modern Art is Rubbish.
Yeah.
.com and Facebook, Modern Art is Rubbish. Instagram.
Yeah.
And every place where people can have their be monetized for data will help you get monetized.
And should they they've got to subscribe, so please sign up to our mailing list at modernartisrubbish.com, where you can see all the images and links to the brilliant artists that we talked about. I really love the artists we talked about this week.
And listen to all of our 70s. I think there's 77 shows or 78.
Yeah, 78. Because I did that thing, didn't I, where I decided like all good dictators should do is try and decide to redo the numbering system.
Oh, yeah. Good, yeah.
Dictators, didn't they? Was it Pol Pot or something tried to change the calendar? We're used to living in a dictator-led society. We just don't know who the dictator is anymore, do we? No, we don't. No, the mystery dictators. The mystery dictators. So we probably mention them every 5 minutes. Yeah. It's probably Facebook or something, isn't it? I don't know. Shh! Don't say that. They'll be listening. Yeah. Well, they don't give, do they? No. Oh, I do give about that language. I'll have to beep that out now, Tom. Okay, yeah. Sorry. Have we got to do buys, haven't we, now, I suppose? We've got to do buys. Okay. All right, bye. Goodbye. Bye.